The great ship Erebus drifted silently through the endless black of space. For 11,000 years, its crew had slept. Time had passed outside, stars had shifted, civilizations had risen and fallen. But inside the massive ship, humanity remained frozen in stasis. The hibernation chambers, glowing faintly with soft blue light, held the last hope of a species that had once ruled its own small world. Earth. Among the quiet hum of machinery, the first chambers began to stir. Lights brightened, slowly, as the intricate systems monitored each human waking from a millennia-long sleep. The first to awaken was Captain Elias Kieran. His eyes opened to a world he no longer recognized, yet somehow, his mind felt sharp. The memory of Earth, of oceans and forests, the laughter of children, still lingered in him like a dream he could almost touch. "Status report," Elias whispered, his voice rough from disuse. A soft, electronic voice responded, calm and neutral. "Captain Kieran. Awakening sequence completed. All crew members in stasis are stabilizing. Systems operational. External scans indicate passage through uncharted regions of the galaxy. Long-range sensors detect several alien structures and trading hubs nearby." Elias took a deep breath. 11,000 years. Time was meaningless now. He rose slowly from his chamber, feeling the stiffness of centuries melt away under the careful guidance of the ship's systems. Around him, one by one, other humans awoke. Some blinked in confusion. Others gasped at the unfamiliar surroundings. Murmurs filled the halls of the Erebus, a sound the galaxy would not hear for many more minutes. Yet even that whisper carried something special, something uniquely human. The crew gathered in the central hall. They looked at each other, unsure, but a strange sense of unity lingered among them. For all the years they had slept, the memory of who they were had never faded. Humanity, even after 11,000 years, had not lost its spark. Elias addressed them. "We have slept longer than any of us can imagine. But the galaxy has not stopped moving. We must learn, adapt, and find our place again. The universe does not wait for anyone, not even humans." Among the crew, there were scientists, engineers, doctors, and explorers. They were all stunned to see alien signals on the long-range scanners, but curiosity burned bright in every eye. The galaxy had changed, but humans were built for change. Their first task was simple: understand what had happened during their absence. The ship's database, though ancient, held records of where humans had been, what they had tried to do, and what had caused their long sleep. Elias and his officers discovered that during the hibernation, Earth's environment had become unstable, war had threatened extinction, and humanity had chosen stasis as the only way to survive. It was a survival decision, a gamble across time. Now, humanity had awoken to a galaxy that no longer remembered them. They were ghosts of history, yet alive, and that alone was extraordinary. Their sensors picked up activity in a nearby sector. Strange lights danced around a massive structure, a trading hub filled with ships from multiple civilizations. Aliens, Elias realized, were everywhere now. Entire societies had evolved without humans. Their technologies were faster, cleaner, and stranger than anything humans had imagined. Cities floated in space, like glass and metal flowers. Ships moved with speed and grace beyond human comprehension. Still, humans had something no alien civilization had fully mastered: creativity, empathy, and adaptability. Where aliens often relied on strict logic, rules, or rigid programming, humans thought beyond formulas. They solved problems with imagination. They built bridges between worlds, with words and laughter. They created art that spoke to the soul. And even in silence, humans carried a kind of energy that machines could not replicate. Elias decided that humanity's first contact should be careful. "We cannot appear threatening," he said. "We have to show them we are not a threat, but we will also show them we exist." The crew prepared the Erebus for its first subspace transmission. Using old frequencies recalibrated for new space traffic, they sent a harmonic resonance, a pattern of signals crafted not for war, but for recognition. They wanted to announce humanity's presence without frightening the galaxy. When the transmission left the ship, it moved through the void like a ripple in water. For most alien civilizations, it was a curiosity. Signals had always been precise, predictable, and digital. But this one carried something different, something organic, something that, without knowing why, made other species pause. For the first time in 11,000 years, humanity was no longer alone in the galaxy. Hours passed, and the response came slowly. At first, the Erebus only picked up fragmented signals, alien chatter, confusion, attempts to interpret the pattern. Then, a larger structure appeared on the sensors. A council of trade ships, slowly converging toward humanity's location. These beings did not know what to make of humans. They had long since considered humanity extinct, a myth from an older, simpler galaxy. Elias stood on the observation deck, staring at the incoming fleet. His heart raced, not with fear, but with anticipation. "The galaxy has forgotten us," he whispered. "Now, it will have to remember." The humans' first external contact was unusual. The aliens broadcasted a series of questions, cautious and polite. They wanted to know if humans were dangerous, if they carried weapons, or if their awakening posed a threat to trade and stability. Elias smiled faintly. Humanity had no need for aggression, they had something far more powerful: ideas. Through the ship's translation systems, humans responded carefully, introducing themselves. They spoke of history, of long sleep, of dreams of returning to the stars. They told stories of Earth, of its oceans, mountains, and forests, of human cultures and curiosity. Aliens listened, fascinated, for it was unlike any communication they had ever received. Most messages were logical, technical, or transactional, but humans shared wonder. Humans shared emotion. Humans shared life. The reactions were mixed. Some alien leaders were wary. These creatures awaken from sleep after thousands of years. What are they capable of? Others whispered. Some were intrigued. They think differently, strangely differently. Perhaps they could be useful, or perhaps even inspiring. Among humans, excitement grew. They realized that their uniqueness, the very traits that had once made them fragile on Earth, were now a strength. Humans could adapt where others could not. Humans could innovate when others were stuck in rigid thinking. Humans could connect across species with empathy and curiosity. Days passed. The humans explored the alien hub remotely at first, sending drones and probes to gather information. They studied alien architecture, technology, and communication patterns. They marveled at the elegance and complexity of what civilizations had built in their absence. Yet, they were not overwhelmed. Instead, they were inspired. They saw opportunities, puzzles to solve, and ideas to exchange. One young engineer, Mara Selen, pointed out a problem in the hub's energy distribution system. "They've built this entire network," she said. "But they waste so much energy moving resources between nodes. We could optimize it with simple techniques they might never think of." Elias nodded. "Exactly. That is humanity's advantage. We see connections they overlook. We turn impossibilities into possibilities." By the end of the first week, humans had established a small presence near the hub, always careful to respect alien protocols. They sent small aid messages, repaired minor malfunctions, and shared simple solutions. Slowly, the galaxy began to notice. Aliens began to whisper of these strange creatures, humans who had returned after ages of absence. And for the first time in 11,000 years, humanity felt the thrill of the stars. They were no longer asleep. They were remembered, not fully, not yet, but remembered enough to make a difference. As the Erebus drifted in orbit around the alien hub, Elias gazed at the stars. He knew the galaxy had changed, and humans would have to change too. But he also knew something else. No matter how much time passed, humanity's spirit could never be forgotten. Tomorrow, he said softly, we will take our first real steps into the galaxy. And when it hears us, it will remember. Humanity is back. The crew nodded, filled with determination and wonder. For 11,000 years, they had slept. Now, the galaxy would see what humans could do, not with weapons, not with force, but with the power of curiosity, creativity, and heart. The first chapter of humanity's new age had begun, and the galaxy, long forgetting the small blue world from which humans came, would soon remember what it meant to hear the footsteps of a species that never truly disappeared. The galaxy had noticed. It had not understood entirely, but it could feel the difference. Humans were awake, and they were unlike anything that had emerged in the last 11,000 years. From the observation deck of the Erebus, Captain Elias Kieran watched the alien trade hub below. Ships moved like liquid, docking and undocking, with near-perfect precision. Alien engineers and merchants communicated with flashing lights, tones, and precise gestures. Yet, despite all their efficiency, there was something missing, a spark of unpredictability, a flicker of imagination that the humans carried naturally. Elias smiled faintly. "It is our time," he said. "We will show them what humans can do." The crew began planning their first missions beyond the Erebus. Mara Celan, the young engineer who had already impressed the captain with her insights, suggested they start small. Let's help with simple problems first. Fix minor energy imbalances, optimize shipping paths, and see how they react. We will learn about their technology and their ways. The humans deployed small drones and automated probes. The drones moved carefully, studying alien energy grids, cargo networks, and transportation systems. Within hours, the humans discovered several inefficiencies the aliens had never noticed. Energy was being wasted as cargo moved in convoluted loops. Supply chains were rigid, unable to adapt quickly to sudden changes. Humans began sending their solutions to the alien systems, not as orders, but as suggestions. They displayed paths, algorithms, and adjustments designed to improve efficiency. The aliens were startled. The suggestions worked immediately. A power node that had struggled for years now distributed energy evenly. A supply line that had caused delays now flowed smoothly. News of these miracles spread quickly. Aliens whispered about the humans who had awakened from sleep, bringing solutions they had never imagined. Skepticism mixed with curiosity. Some leaders were cautious, wondering if these humans might later prove dangerous. Others were fascinated, eager to see what other ideas the humans might have. Meanwhile, on the Erebus, the humans marveled at how much they had already achieved. They had not fired a single weapon. They had not conquered a planet. They had only used their minds, their creativity, and their understanding of systems to make things better. And yet, the galaxy took notice. One day, Mara suggested something more ambitious. The communication systems of these aliens are old-fashioned in some ways. They can send messages instantly, but only along certain paths. If we build a simple bridge between their networks, they could connect entire star systems with minimal delay. Elias considered her plan. "It is bold," he said. "But humans have always thrived by being bold." End quote. End quote. Within hours, Humans had constructed a small relay network, linking isolated star systems in the sector. Messages that once took days now traveled instantly. Merchants could trade faster. Scientists could collaborate more efficiently. "Who are these humans?" an alien scientist asked his colleagues. "They do not command armies. They do not conquer. Yet they change everything." The humans did not answer directly. They continued their work quietly, moving from problem to problem, offering solutions, teaching, and learning in return. The aliens began to notice patterns. Humans did not merely fix problems, they created possibilities. They did not follow rules blindly, they imagined new rules. They were unpredictable, in the best way possible. One morning, the Erebus received a new kind of signal. It was an invitation, not a demand. Several alien leaders requested a meeting, curious to understand the humans personally. Elias gathered his crew. "This is our first real encounter," he said. "We must show them who we are." The humans prepared carefully. They did not bring weapons or shields. They brought ideas, art, music, and science. They brought their history and their hopes. They knew the galaxy might be wary, but they also knew the value of empathy. Humans had survived thousands of years, not through strength, but through connection and understanding. The meeting took place aboard a neutral station orbiting a small, peaceful planet. Aliens of various shapes and sizes arrived, their curiosity barely contained. Elias stepped forward to address them, speaking through the translation systems that made his words comprehensible to every species. "Greetings," he said. "We are humans. We have slept for many thousands of years. We have returned not to take, but to share. We wish to learn from you, and we hope you will learn from us." There was a long silence. The aliens studied the humans carefully. Some had never seen creatures like them before. Humans were soft and delicate in appearance, yet there was a quiet confidence in their movements and voices. They were alive, with ideas, energy, and emotion. Finally, one of the alien leaders, a tall being with crystalline skin and faceted eyes, spoke. "You claim to be humans. How can we trust you? How do we know you are not a danger?" Elias smiled. "You cannot know. But you can judge us by our actions. We offer no harm, only help. We bring solutions, ideas, and creativity. If you choose to work with us, we will prove ourselves by what we do, not by what we claim." The aliens exchanged glances. Some were skeptical, but others nodded slowly. They had never encountered a species quite like this, curious, inventive, unpredictable. Humans were dangerous in a way they did not yet understand, dangerous because they could imagine, create, and inspire. Over the next few weeks, humans began working closely with alien civilizations. They helped engineers optimize energy flows. They designed new systems for resource distribution. They introduced artistic expressions that had never existed in alien cultures. Music with emotion, paintings with meaning, and stories that conveyed complex ideas simply and beautifully. The impact was immediate. Alien societies, long focused on efficiency, began to embrace creativity. Scientists started to experiment beyond rigid logic. Artists discovered new forms of expression inspired by human techniques. Communities found ways to collaborate across species in ways that had never been possible. Even rival civilizations, normally distrustful of one another, began to cooperate when humans facilitated communication. Humans had no army, yet they united worlds in ways the galaxy had never imagined. Mara, watching the effects of their work, said to Elias, "We are not just helping them. We are reminding them what it means to be alive, to imagine, to care." Elias nodded. "Exactly. Humanity was forgotten, but the galaxy needed us. We bring more than knowledge, we bring hope." Despite their successes, the humans faced challenges. Some aliens were suspicious, fearful of what humans might do if left unchecked. They sent spies, asking questions, trying to understand whether these creatures were a threat. Humans welcomed the scrutiny, confident that their transparency and actions would speak for themselves. One incident nearly caused tension. A shipment of medical supplies intended for a distant planet had been delayed. Aliens suspected sabotage. Elias and Mara, using careful analysis and communication, traced the delay to a misalignment in the alien transit system. They resolved it swiftly, explaining each step. The aliens were impressed, not only by the solution, but by the patience and clarity humans demonstrated. Slowly, trust grew. Humans were no longer myths. They were no longer ghosts of a forgotten past. They were real, awake, and capable of inspiring change. Their presence spread across multiple systems as humans took small, thoughtful steps, proving every day that they were a force for good, a reminder of what creativity and empathy could achieve. Elias gathered his crew one evening in the observation hall. Stars stretched endlessly before them. "We have done well," he said. "But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, and humans are small. Yet even the smallest spark can ignite a fire." Mara smiled. "They are already starting to remember us. The way they listen, the way they learn it is as if humans never truly disappeared." Elias looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of the centuries behind them and the promise of the future ahead. "We have awakened after 11,000 years. Now we must decide what kind of humans we want to be. Not conquerors, not rulers, but creators, connectors, and innovators. If we do this well, the galaxy will not just remember us, it will follow our example." Today, and so, humanity moved forward. Each day brought new challenges and opportunities. Each encounter with alien civilizations tested their patience, intelligence, and creativity. Every problem solved became a ripple that spread across the stars. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy began to feel the echo of humans, the echo of curiosity, imagination, and compassion. And that echo, subtle yet powerful, would grow louder with every passing day, reminding the universe that humanity had returned. The Erebus continued its journey, carrying humans into new star systems, new discoveries, and new possibilities. The galaxy had long forgotten them, but humanity's actions would ensure it never forgot again. In quiet moments, as the crew gazed out at distant suns, they felt a deep truth. They were not just survivors of time. They were the spark of life, the embodiment of hope, and the reminder that even after thousands of years of sleep, humanity could awaken to reshape the universe. And so, the humans took their first real steps into the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as thinkers, builders, and dreamers. The galaxy would never hear humans in the same way again. The Galactic Assembly had convened. For the first time in 11,000 years, humans would meet the leaders of the galaxy face to face. The station chosen for the gathering floated in a serene orbit around a blue and green world, neutral to every civilization. Ships of all shapes, sizes, and colors arrived, each carrying delegates curious, cautious, or wary of these humans who had returned from a forgotten past. Captain Elias Kieran stood on the observation deck of the Erebus, looking at the assembly station. The hum of the ship's systems felt comforting, grounding. For centuries, humans had slept through the galaxy's rise and fall. Now, they would step forward and define themselves not with force, but with vision, creativity, and the essence of who they truly were. "Remember," Elias said to his crew, "we are not here to conquer or compete. We are here to show them what humanity can do through ideas, empathy, and collaboration." The crew nodded, each one feeling the weight of history and the thrill of opportunity. Humanity had no weapons in this assembly. Their power lay in their uniqueness, in the ability to think, feel, and imagine in ways no other species could. When the humans entered the assembly hall, silence fell. Hundreds of delegates turned to look at them. Many had only seen images, simulations, or subspace messages of humans. Now, they were real, alive, moving, speaking, and radiant with purpose. Elias stepped forward and addressed the assembly. His voice, amplified through translation systems, was calm and confident. "Leaders of the galaxy," he began. "We are humans. We have slept for 11,000 years. During our absence, civilizations have risen, technologies have advanced, and worlds have grown. Yet we are here not to dominate, not to claim power, but to contribute. Humanity's strength is not in war or conquest, but in creativity, empathy, and collaboration. We hope to share what we know and learn from what you have achieved." There was a pause. Some delegates exchanged skeptical glances. How could a species that had slept so long hope to make a difference now? Others leaned forward, intrigued. Humans spoke of hope, of imagination, of solving problems without force. To demonstrate, Elias signaled to Mara Salan, who activated a holographic display in the center of the hall. It showed a map of star systems, energy grids, and trade routes. Then, step by step, Mara illustrated how humans had already improved several sectors. Optimizing energy distribution, connecting isolated systems for faster communication, and introducing creative solutions for social and scientific collaboration. The delegates watched carefully. They could see the results: more efficient networks, smoother logistics, and even enhanced artistic exchanges between planets. There was no magic, no hidden weapon, just careful thought and creativity. One of the delegates, a tall alien with luminous feathers and multiple eyes, finally spoke. "You claim that humanity can contribute without force. Yet your species was once feared. You wielded great power on your homeworld. How can we trust that this is true?" 1. Elias nodded. "Trust cannot be demanded. It can only be earned. That is why we bring results, not threats. Watch what we do, not what we say. Humanity has survived for thousands of years because we adapt, we learn, and we create. These are the tools we bring to the galaxy." Throughout the assembly, humans took a bold approach. They did not just speak, they demonstrated. Small, interactive projects were displayed. New forms of energy transfer, artistic simulations combining alien and human creativity, and logistical models that simplified complex systems. Delegates tried them, tested them, and were amazed by the outcomes. In one corner, a group of alien leaders debated quietly. "These humans are not aggressive, yet their influence is immediate," said one. "They do not command armies, yet they unite worlds through ideas. They are unpredictable." Another nodded. "Yes, and that is exactly why they are dangerous in the right way. They inspire change, and inspiration is stronger than force." As days passed, humans continued to demonstrate their abilities. They solved disputes between neighboring systems by introducing neutral communication techniques. They helped design cooperative trade systems that allowed multiple civilizations to benefit equally. They even organized art and cultural exchanges, showing that diplomacy and creativity could be as powerful as any weapon. During a break in the assembly, Mara spoke to Elias. "Look at them. They are learning from us. But I think we are learning from them too. The galaxy has grown in our absence, yet our presence adds something new. We are not just influencing them. We are shaping the future together." Elias smiled. "That is the essence of humanity. We adapt, we inspire, and we connect. Force is temporary. Ideas last forever. Some delegates attempted subtle manipulation, testing the humans' resolve. They tried to present false problems or misunderstand data to see if humans would react aggressively. Each time, humans responded not with anger, but with calm reasoning. They analyzed, explained, and suggested peaceful, practical solutions. Slowly, skepticism gave way to admiration. The assembly began to realize that these humans were not conquerors. They were connectors, innovators, and catalysts for progress. Delegates started consulting humans for advice, inviting them to collaborate on projects that had previously been stalled for decades. Elias knew the assembly was reaching a turning point. "This is it," he said to his officers. "The galaxy is seeing the true value of humanity. Our words matter, but our actions matter even more. We are building trust, and trust is stronger than any fleet." As the final day of the assembly approached, humans prepared their closing demonstration. They had designed an interstellar collaboration model, a system where multiple civilizations could share knowledge, resources, and creativity without conflict. Using holographic projections, music, and visual art, they showed how cooperation could be not only efficient, but beautiful. The room was silent as the demonstration ended. Then, one by one, delegates began to applaud. Not out of obligation, but out of genuine respect. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had seen humans in full. Imaginative, compassionate, and capable of inspiring others without coercion. The crystalline delegate who had questioned Elias earlier stood and spoke. "You have awakened after 11,000 years, and yet you teach us lessons we have forgotten. You do not rule with weapons or fear, but with ideas. Humanity has returned, and the galaxy is richer for it." Elias felt a surge of pride, but also humility. Humans had returned, not as rulers, but as equals. Their place in the galaxy was earned through thought, empathy, and creativity. And for the first time in 11,000 years, humanity felt fully alive in the universe. After the assembly, the Erebus and its crew returned to orbit above the neutral planet. The stars stretched endlessly before them, as if inviting them onward. Mara looked out at the cosmos. "We've shown them what humans can do. But there is still so much to explore. So many worlds to learn from. So many civilizations to connect with." Elias nodded. "Yes. We are small, yet our potential is limitless. Humanity has awakened not to dominate, but to inspire. The galaxy will never hear us the same way again." The humans began planning their next steps. They would continue exploring new systems, helping where they could, sharing ideas, and learning from alien civilizations. They understood that their influence came not from power, but from creativity and empathy. Every small action would ripple outward, shaping a galaxy that had once forgotten them. The humans also realized something else. They had changed too. 11,000 years of sleep had preserved their bodies, but their minds had awakened stronger, wiser, and more adaptable. They were not the same humans who had entered stasis. They were something greater, a species that had endured time itself and emerged to shape the future. As the Erebus moved toward its next destination, the crew felt the weight and joy of purpose. They had awakened the galaxy not with force, but with humanity itself. Ideas, art, science, and compassion were their tools. And already, the galaxy responded. Elias spoke quietly, almost to himself. "We are awake. The galaxy remembers us now, and when it hears us fully, it will never forget again." Below them, distant worlds glimmered like jewels in the void. Humans were ready to step onto every one of them, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as creators, thinkers, and connectors. The galaxy had forgotten humanity, but that forgetfulness would not last. From this moment on, Every world the humans touched would learn the truth. Humanity's strength lay not in force, but in the power to imagine, to inspire, and to bring life and ideas wherever they went. And so, for the first time in 11,000 years, humanity had truly returned. Not to reclaim a past, but to shape a future full of wonder, collaboration, and endless possibility. The stars, the galaxy, and all the civilizations within it waited, and humanity, finally awake, was ready to meet them.